Good morning, everybody. This is a talk about community engagement for reef restoration as part of the Reef Restoration and Adaptation program. I'm presenting this on behalf of Umberto Barisi, who led this project, and you can see from the long list of contributors that this was a collaborative project working across social science research teams in QUT, CSIRO and JCU. There were also lots of other people involved, particularly the AIMS Indigenous Partnerships team, but also their stakeholders and traditional owners who contributed to this work. Let me acknowledge the Yunganbar and Kombumerri people of the Gold Coast. I'm coming to you today from Darumbal Sea Country in central Queensland. So I'm hoping that you've had some exposure to the Reef Restoration and Adaptation program. This is a very large multi-institutional research program that's looking at a range of novel technologies to help coral reef ecosystems adapt to climate change. This provides the context for the community engagement that this research concerns. So the features of that context are about urgency for action. We all know that the reef is under extreme pressure from climate change, and there's a great appetite from the community to help the reef cope better. It's also about novel technologies and a new paradigm for ecosystem management, much more active intervention rather than conservation and protection. So there are hard choices in this program. There are risks of action and also risks of inaction. So that sets the context for community engagement. And there's a whole lot of engagement that needs to happen to set up a restoration initiative. And you can see some of those on the top here, from social acceptability, regulatory consent, traditional owner consent, building delivery capacity across a range of different sectors, tourism, marine services, traditional owners, and other not-for-profit organisations, and obviously embedding restoration within the broader reef policy and program arena. So this bit of research is evaluative research. So RAP is a research program that is just starting to move into small-scale deployment. Within that research program, there was a substantial investment in social science research, and part of that social science research was about engagement, and so there were engagement with stakeholders and traditional owners as part of that. So this was an internal process, looking at the reflections that have come out of that process in the context that RAP will be scaling up and engaging more broadly in the community going forward. The analytical framework we've used in this research comes from Newig et al. If you're interested in the academic side of it. So we're going to present just 4 key learnings, and each of those we have a quote from one of the interviews that we've run and some dot points that talk about the responses of the program to date to those challenges. And this first learning is really about the balancing act between that urgency and enthusiasm for action versus the time it takes for foundational research and relationship and capacity building through engagement, and the uncertainty of the outcomes. So the key response here is about, we don't have time to work in a traditional linear way. We need to work in parallel. So we're engaging earlier, which means we need to be more transparent about uncertainty. We need to be more flexible. We need to pay close attention to risk and learning. And that means we need to be very careful in terms of the messages that we're giving out to community. The second reflection is really that we think the way that embedding deliberation and reflexivity in the research program is a really useful strategy for working in this space. And so that involves careful thought and discussion, reflecting on what we know, what we've done, what we've learnt, and doing that across traditional silos. So within research teams, across research teams, with stakeholders, with traditional owners, and with management. And the second aspect of this is about acknowledging and supporting the agency of others in this. So research traditionally tends to think we would go away and do the research, we come up with the answer, and then we tell you what you need to do. And this is certainly not the case here. There's way too much uncertainty and we don't have the time. So it's about learning how to work together. The third reflection is digging a bit deeper into the working with traditional owners aspect, and I should acknowledge the Indigenous Partnerships team here have been leading the FPIC and much of the traditional owner engagement, and it was great that Sunny and Libby could talk to you this morning. So there's a range of responses here, starting with FPIC, but obviously moving beyond that, and how do we embed culturally appropriate research protocols? How do we embed, or how do we support cultural values and cultural practices at all levels of the research program? The final learning here is about engagement needs to work in multiple directions, and how do we embed those engagement processes in the decision making processes, both of the research program and also more broadly in policy and management. So that requires a structured and strategic approach to engagement at all levels. So from site-based research initiatives through to policy and strategic management. So just in summary, I guess, the take home is that we do this is a new paradigm of active ecosystem management, and the first of many I expect going forward in a rapidly changing planet. There's a real balancing act to be had here between hurry up and go slow and do it well, and the uncertainty, and that means we need to find new ways of working. Flexibility and adaptability are essential, and deliberative reflexive practice is helpful as part of that. The role of traditional owners within this program and working on country more broadly is systemic, and it's appropriate and ethical that cultural rights, knowledge and practices are integrated at all levels. And that's challenging, that's new ways of working together. And finally, we need to explicitly embed the input of stakeholders and traditional owners into RAP decision making. That's it from me. Going forward, I guess RAP is in a transition stage at the moment with the start of moving into small scale deployment and some of the partnerships that Sunny and Libby talked about this morning. Karen Bella is the contact for this work going forward. Thanks.